Good day, YouTubers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. Construction on the Soleil Royal continues. We're just getting started. So we did get the first 3 framing members glued up to the keel base. Thing jumped out of its track, but we're using little blocks to square up our glue up sections. We got another little block in here. Stuck in there pretty good. It is steel, so I didn't know it would stick that good. I need to put some paper in there or something. Now I'm going to have to get a little screwdriver. See if we can't pry that apart. There we go. Yeah. Sticks, but not good enough to be a problem. A little bit of cleanup there. So when I did finish gluing those 3 up, I went ahead and put the next 3 on the bench with this parchment paper, which is like wax paper, so I can get those to dry ahead of time. So that's number 9, number 8, number 7. You can see on there tells us 7, 8, and 9. After we glue those in, yeah, this goes into 3 and 4 and locks in 7, 8 as an extra support. So as soon as we put 7 and 8 on, if we stick these on, we may not need to put our squaring block in there. So I got a brush here that is sort of a throwaway. I keep it soaking in water when I'm not using it. And we're just dipping straight out of the Gorilla Glue. Get a liberal amount on there. So 7's going to go down in there enough where that keel member is going to come up this sidewall here. So we want to add some for that. And it's going to go down almost to the bottom of the keel. That's on for that. Stick that in there. These go pretty quick, but you got to wait for the sub-assemblies to dry before you can put them on the keel assembly. So I've looked ahead in the instructions. Probably 4 or 5 steps ahead and picked out the pieces I need. And then went ahead and got them cut loose from the laser cut plywood. So they're ready to go. You can see how floppy that is. That's why you got to make sure that everything is square. Otherwise you'll have a nightmare later on. Yeah, we can see getting a little bit of glue on the base. We don't want it to stick to that. So now these two pieces are identical. Yeah. So let's get those on with some glue. And we don't want to be too stingy with this glue. This is the main framing of the ship. I like to get both surfaces wet with the glue. Just like you're gluing PVC pipe together. And in she goes. So as far as the squaring up goes, this one we're adding now is gonna do a good job of keeping those framing members square to the keel, perpendicular, plumb, what do you call it? You got one on the other side too. It's mainly on the edge here. This goes down in that step, so on that face and on the edge, not that face. But going ahead a few steps in the instructions to see what stuff to put on there next. While I'm waiting on the glue to dry on the subassembly, fossil down there crawling around his little cave. Well, once we get these on, we're almost halfway with the, no, I would say we're 1/3 of the way with the frame. One-third of the way. Yeah, so I don't have to worry about squaring up that spot there because this new one we just added squares it up for us. And it's another notch here, which tells me that once we do these other members, there's going to be another board like this one that will help square them up too and give them some more rigidity. This is my beaker with water in it, and that'll keep that brush soft so we can use it again. And because this bottle dispenses through the cap, I like to clean the mouth of it before I put the cap back on, because if I leave a bunch of glue on that edge when I go to use this cap for something, I may end up with a problem later on, so I'm going to keep that dry to clean. These are the rigging tools that we bought with this kit. Taken out of the package and assembled. You can see that one's got a hook on the back there. This one's got a hook on the end. There's another one with the end and the side. And we did go ahead and order the light kit and the shaping tools, which is some stainless steel pieces like this that have a shape in them that you can drag across the plank and change the profile of the plank to whatever shape you're dragging across there. So this one is number 9, but I'm not going to glue that in yet. Let's look at the plans here. And of course 9 does go in next according to the plan or instructions. But why would you put 9 in if you don't have anything to keep it square? So here in the instructions, we're putting this other piece on the end. We've got them ready. It's got a hole in it for the bowsprit. There's a hole here for the bowsprit. Well, it goes up here like that. And then these two are going to square it up. I got to figure out the orientation. Like the little slot goes next to the edge. Okay, I see. So it'll go on like that. That'll hold it square against the mouth of the keel. So before we glue that up, I'm always looking ahead to see. They show this little angle piece that you can use to square up your glue ups. I couldn't find that piece in the laser cut stuff anywhere. I looked high and low for that thing. I guess it's in there, but I couldn't find it. Looks like it should be in there. So anyway, looks like there's 2 more of them pterodactyl looking things going down below. And then some little pieces. And then some more bracing up high. But none of that bracing intersects with that number 9. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the one we're questioning. They show it there, but there's nothing bracing it, which just means that I'm going to have to use another block like this to clamp and square it up, and then my clamp handles and stuff might be in the way for the next pieces. I don't know. So let me go ahead and punch out some more of the, there's 2 more of these that go below, and then it showed other framing members up here. We'll get them punched out of the laser cut, and then we'll look further in the plans and try to discover when the bracing occurs for this joint out here, so we don't have to worry about putting a square block in there, because I don't have to worry about these because that piece is keeping them square now. And without something here, I'm going to have clamps in the way. So I want to try to do that as well as I go along here and get bracing in there at the same time. So I may have to glue up a bunch of these and get all the rest of the stuff cut out for the front, so that we can be productive. So, as usual, we think we're moving right along. We look ahead in the plans and cut out the next pieces. Then we get ready to glue some on. Glue a few pieces and then go eat lunch. Come back and get ready for the next ones, which was up here in the front. And we're looking at the plans, and I'll be darned if we didn't glue this 13 on in the wrong spot. I'll go backwards one page there. We got the next 2, 18 and 19, glued up down here on the bench because they're 3 pieces, and we gotta let that set before we put those in place back here. But when I went to, before I went to lunch, I glued on this side plank here. Looking at the drawing before this, it looked like it stopped. I even zoomed in and looked at it, but I didn't go forward enough to see that spot right there with this board 13, which is this sideboard, where I actually had it stopping flush with the back of this framing member, and you can see where the glue marks were when I went to lunch and came back and realized that the whole thing needed to come back and get glued behind this piece that was on the front here. And that was the last piece I'd stuck on before I went to lunch. And I said, oh no, I hope that glue isn't set too much. It wasn't too easy to get all those off because there was 5 places, 2, 3, 4, 5, that was holding it on there. This one looks a little off, so just by eye I'm gonna straighten that up a little bit. So I'd take the razor knife, get in there at a good angle, and cut that loose on both sides, on all 5 pieces on each side, 10 of them, and get them broke free without damaging something. Sure enough, I was able to get it. But man, oh man, was I pushing and pulling on there. This one joint broke in half where it was glued together, which is okay because I just glue it back after we get position right. That's why that one's a little screwy. So I did get it to come loose and scoot the frame back. It's got 2 beams in there that are helping it stay solid. Got it to scoot back and glued it in behind these little ears here, and then re-glued it on all the framing members. And went back into my plans again. Said, phew, we made it through that disaster without too much pain. But while I went to lunch, of course, that was a screw up, and we had to take it loose and get it to come back. But these had sagged down a little bit. So I had rubber bands on here going around and grabbing the back of that ear to help it push up against this, the keel and this faceplate. But it didn't account for the angle here. I should have had that block in there and clamped it, but I didn't think about that. So when I got back from lunch, this was sagged down about 5 degrees, both of them. So I had to cut them loose to get these pieces in. So 25, 26, and 27. Yes. Our next, let me see on the next page there, we're on step number 26, 27, 28, 29, somewhere around step number 26. But it's got us doing these on this one left side before we do some different stuff on the other end, and then come back and do the rest of the right side up here in the front, which I thought was a little odd, but it pays to look forward in your directions a few pages each time you take on a new section of the instructions. Definitely look forward a few pages and make sure you're on the right path. And I didn't look forward on that beam number 13 in there. That came back to bite me. I made a mistake of going to eat lunch and coming back thinking I was letting a step get all dry. So, lesson learned, and we're just getting started. We got these three here to glue on. $25, $26, and $27 on the left side. Something don't fit right there. As long as it goes in all the way. I'm looking at where the stop point is. Got a stop point right here. And right there, Mark does two stop points so you can see if they actually, so it doesn't, what is stopping it? Nothing's hitting it on that side. Time for a little tappy tap tap. Like that. It wasn't touching nothing on all the different beads. It must have been some glue on there or something. I'm using these clamps right now to hold the keel. Because it ain't going to work in that base member that they give you in the kit until we get further along. All this will get covered up with planking and decorations. So we don't have to be real picky with the glue. We just want to make sure the framing members are in the right place. Yeah, that one felt like it went in all the way. I imagine when you go to do the deck panels that are underneath the planking, you'll want to make sure that these framing members are in the right spot. Otherwise, your deck panels are going to not work. Okay. So that takes care of step 7, 28, 29. So now on step 30, I had a square on that, but it looks a little crooked. See, it's narrower here than it is over there. I know this block is square. Yeah, see that gap? I had that on the inside. You never know about this stuff. Double check your work. Eyeball it. Get a little bit of fresh glue on there. It softens up the... I just glued this before we turned the camera on. This is that one piece that we had left off, but it wanted me to glue those. It wanted me to glue it on there before I started on the front, so went ahead and glued it and clamped it. I'm going to clamp it again. Maybe that clamp I used wasn't in the right spot. Very well could have been. That looks better. So now we got a step 30, find part 22 and part 23. Yeah, part 23 is the two little glue blocks to stiffen it where this joint is. So we're going to glue part 22 to part 5 so it'll come on out longer, and then put two stiffener blocks on it. So we got to go cut those out of the laser cut sheets, and we'll look ahead for other things to do on the next step here in the instructions before we come back. So I'm going to cap my glue, put my brush in the water. Yeah, 22 and 23. We always try to move right along. So number 18 and 19. And a lot of glue. And then we'll have a stiffener brace. And a little block for, I would assume, the bottom of the mast. 18 and 19. I found when I go to cut these out from the laser cut sheets that it's easier to turn the sheet after you identify the part you want to cut. You turn it upside down, and the actual connection that the laser left to hold it into the main part is accessible from the back. Much more easier with your razor knife to cut the joint loose. Each one of these marks on the laser cut is where the X-Acto knife had to get in there and cut it free from the sheet. You notice the side with the numbers on it. Turn the sheet over and stab it with your laser knife right where that joint's at. And it cuts a lot easier than trying to cut it from the front. So 18 and 19 are stuck in there. This one's got to go on before we get too further. Otherwise stuff will be in the way. .32 goes right next to the main joint we made yesterday. Yeah, see with that shape there, it looks like it's going to accept the bottom of the mast. So try to make that square. And the next step is these ribs in the bottom here. 28. 18 and 19 is on. And I think we want to do 24, which is this one, before we do that stiffener brace. Now the stiffener brace 28 is labeled 8, 9, 18, 19, and 24. 18, 19, and 24 are the ones we just put on. 8 is the one before the last one, the first one we put on. So that will make them all square on. You can see how they go in. This 18, 19, and 24 I pre-glued up yesterday. Just want to make sure those are down in there all the way. I'm not gluing that yet because we want to look at the plans. That'll hold these other pieces that we just added square. And that part number 28 is the one we just stuck in there. And that ties into the previous section that we had finished. And now there's some upper pieces. Let me advance in the plans here. Don't glue 29. So that symbol means don't glue. These are parts 29. There's two of them identical. And you can see there's a 30 and a 31 on there, and that's for these cross braces. So this part 29 should go up in there all the way and made up to that old part 15. And then the cross braces would get put on. I'm sort of wondering why they say don't glue. Don't glue 29, but glue 30 and 31 after we put on a couple little pieces on the other end. Why would they say not to glue? Here's 30. And then 31 is way out here. So that's half of the hull. So not glue 29. Yeah, we can always brush it down with the glue. I imagine that's because there's something here above this that may need adjustment. $35. So I got to go find part 35. We can go ahead and glue in 30 and 31 though. So it does go, other than your dry time on your glue, you get all the pieces cut away from the sheet ahead of time. And the ones you need to glue up before you put it on the ship, those get dry. It goes pretty quick. reason to be stingy with the glue here, because these are main framing members of the ship. I want them to be good and solid, as long as they're put together properly. So let's go back and do these, and then it looks like 35 we got to cut out, but it looks like next, after we get these little ones in, that we'll be going back to the front of the ship and finishing the right side. You can see we got the left side done, and these little ones, 34L, go in here. Let me go back in the prints and look where 34L. Orients. Ah, I see. So 34L and 33L are going to act like this first one did that we messed up on. When we put that bracing member in, we had made it flush with the back side of this framing member, and it really needed to go all the way to the front and hook into this piece that's part of that front rib. And now we're adding two more of these for further bracing members that I think is going to go on next. So we'll go ahead and glue them in. Then we'll sit back and look at the plans a little bit and cut out some more pieces from the laser cut sheet. So 33 goes on the bottom. .34 goes on the top. Maybe a little bit too much glue. And then maybe a clamp to hold it straight so it doesn't sag. Push up on it a little bit. Okay. Let's do some plan research.
So hi guys, I'm going to be playing with my marbles and let's see who's going to win the challenge. So up next is Orange. So he wins the challenge. Every time a person wins the challenge, they get to have another partner. Right?
Right.
So whoever gets to win, so whoever wins also and they get pushed, they go faster, they also win a lot.
Do you agree?
Yeah, whatever he's saying.
These are my grandsons. They're here helping today as we continue on with the build of the Ship Soleil Royal. And of course, they have their own priorities.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna be doing something unbelievably cool.
Unbelievably cool.
Yeah. Whoever wins with 2 partners, they get 3 partners. Whoever gets 3 partners, they win.
So you're gonna have 3 marbles?
Yes.
Wow. While he's winning marbles, we're gonna glue on this last piece for step number 48
Yeah.
that we've made it to. And step number 48 allows us to...
Hey Pops, I watched your videos last time.
Yes, I have 1,500 subscribers watching my videos. Thank you very much for all you folks out there in the world that take time to watch.
It's rolling.
His Royal Highness Mufasa is down in his little cave below us. So we get that liberally glued on. We're going to put a square in there. So we want to clean that one spot out. Put this square in there.
I watch Crane videos.
And then clamp it.
I want to watch Crane videos.
Crane?
Yeah.
Oh, you like cranes?
Yeah.
How first should I put this?
On the lab. I want to watch Crane videos on the lab.
So there's the last of step 48 done. Of course, we did
Hey Pops, can I watch Crane videos?
We did some deck boards on this piece here, which is going to go in the front of the ship, and that bowsprit is going to come out of that hole. And that was in this previous step. Well, I guess while they're letting the glue dry on something else, they wanted me to do that. So we got that all planked up with 4mm by 1/2 millimeter boards.
What is this thing?
It's a laser.
Laser? What does it do?
It shoots a laser beam.
A laser beam?
Yeah. Sort of like Superman's eyes.
Does it show an actual one?
Yeah, so you can see it on the wall. So
Oh,
we did make good
it's an
progress.
actual one. Wait.
We did
right
make
here,
good
it's
progress
right.
this week,
Okay.
and
Okay, let me see. Does it have batteries? Pops, does it have batteries?
thanks for watching.
YouTube videos. Peace!